Hello, today I am out here in my meadow garden and I'm standing next to an apple tree that I planted a few years ago. And I'm not going to do a video on planting trees because I did that with this tree. So you can check in the description down below, or if you're watching this on Bob's Live, if you head over to our website at bobsmarket.com/live, you can find that video in the show notes for this episode. But anyhow, today I'm planting a couple other trees, and they're a little bit unique because they're not self-fertile. This apple tree, it is self-fertile, so its blooms will fertilize itself and create apples. But not all fruit trees are self-fertile. And what I'm going to be planting today is a couple pear trees. And one variety of pear that I'm planting is self-fertile, but the other variety, and this is where it gets weird, it is partially self-fertile. So you will get fruit if you just have that one pear tree, but it actually does better with a buddy of a different variety. So yeah, trees are weird. So let's dig into that. So when it comes to self-fertile and not self-fertile, most fruit trees are not self-fertile. They need another tree of a different species to pollinate the tree in order to produce fruit. If it pollinates itself, it won't set fruit. So if you have a tree that's not self-fertile in your yard by itself, chances are it may not produce fruit. If you're lucky though, you might have a neighbor nearby with a tree of a different variety and you'll get fruit. But to guarantee success, you want to have trees of different varieties. So this pear tree that I planted here, it is a Bartlett pear and it is self-fertile. So it will pollinate itself and produce fruit. However, the other pear tree that I planted just behind it over here, it's a variety called Moonglow. And if you read on the tag, it says that it's not self-fertile. However, there's a little bit of a caveat to that. It is partially self-fertile. So you will get some fruit, but not the full possible amount of fruit that you could get. So by having this Bartlett here with it, it will pollinate the Moonglow and we'll get fruit on the Moonglow, or a lot more fruit. So a self-fertile variety, it is good if you have a smaller yard or if you don't want a ton of pears. For me, I want to have some variety, and I'm also looking at preserving the pears by canning them. So it makes sense to have a few different varieties and ones that can pollinate each other. So it really comes down to your own preference, the size of your yard, and all of those factors. But let's take a look at another reason why I planted these where I did. Alright, so with this angle you can see the Moonglow right here and the Bartlett over here. Now when you're planting trees that need to pollinate each other, ideally you want to have them within about 50 feet of each other because they're mainly being pollinated by the wind. So something else that I considered when I planted these is the direction that the wind normally comes from here. Our wind, it usually blows west to east. So I put the Moonglow that's not self-fertile to the east and the Bartlett to the west. That way when they set bloom in the springtime, hopefully the pollen will blow from the Bartlett over to the Moonglow and pollinate it. So you might be asking yourself, if I'm at the garden center, how do I know if a variety is self-fertile or not? Well, first of all, you can ask somebody. Usually they'll know. But also, you can take a look at the plant tags, and also Google is always your friend. But this tree, I also planted it today. It's a Granny Smith apple tree, and it is a self-fertile variety. So if I take a look at the tag that came on it, you can see right there below Granny Smith, if I can get the camera to focus, that it is self-fertile. And it also gives you some helpful information like the zones. So it's zones 4 through 8, and we're here in zone 6, so good to go with it. But yeah, Google, folks in the store, and then also the plant tags, which, you know, sometimes if you're at a garden center, we always have the trees outside, and these like to kind of blow away in the wind. So there is a chance that you might have a mystery tree. But yeah, usually there's some other tag either on the pot or somewhere to let you identify what it is, and then you can do some research. So I hope that clears up the question of fertile versus self-fertile, and hopefully it will help you make a choice when you're shopping for trees for your own landscape. For this and other great information, visit us online at bobsmarket.com.